Hey everybody, this is Deb with Truthification Chronicles, and yep, you knew I had to do one on Julian Assange, right? Ha! So, I'm celebrating my birthday on the day that they arrested Julian Assange, that he came out of the embassy. Oh, what a day, huh? News is coming thick and fast right now, but I had the same reaction as Brian Cates here when I heard it. Okay, you all know it's not just an amazing coincidence that Assange got arrested now, right? Yep, that's how I'm feeling. Now that Mueller finally closed shop and issued his final report, and Barr fired a shot across the bow of the elite establishment. Yeah, he really did, didn't he? You know, he said, oh, they've been spying, and now everybody's on the word spying. Well, we know that they got the Carter Page FISA warrant, and that allowed them to spy on anybody that Carter Page talked to, and then anybody those people talked to. So yeah, that's the Trump campaign. I mean, yeah, they spied on the Trump campaign. There's just no doubt about that. The doubt that Barr was expressing is he doesn't know if there's enough evidence to show that they had reason to, that the predicate was proper. And that's the issue. And if you listen to Dan Bongino, you know that's what he's been saying all along, that there was no predicate. They didn't have a first paragraph. They didn't have a reason to start it. Well, they had a reason, and it was because Hillary lost. That was their reason. Well, they knew she was in bad shape, politically, and that they were a little worried about Trump winning. So that's what this all was about. It was nothing to do with actual Russian collusion or Russian anything, to be honest. It had nothing to do with that. So anyway, that's what he starts out saying, and then he goes on and he says, what's the biggest card that stupid Trump Russia collusion hoaxsters have been holding on to sell their hoax to their fans? Russian hackers broke in and stole the Podesta DNC emails, guys. Pull that card out of the bottom of the house of cards. What happens? Yeah, we all know, right? I mean, I don't mean to shock you or anything, but did you know it wasn't Russian hackers that gave Assange the DNC Hillary Podesta emails? You knew all that, right? Somebody inside the DNC who knew how they were corrupt and rigging the primaries took those emails and gave them to Assange. And from reading this indictment, it's time to bring back my favorite nickname for this fraud. He has no love for Julian Assange. And for those of you who are holding him up as a hero, he's not going to get off clean with this, I don't think. In my opinion, he's going to be held accountable for some things that he did that were shady, okay? But he also, in my opinion, is not going to reveal his source. However, he will probably do under oath what he already has done when he was talking to Hannity and everything. He's going to say that his source was not Russia. And that in and of itself, he'll say that under oath. I'm certain of that. And that is going to be a death blow to this whole Russia collusion conspiracy. And then he goes on about Julian Assange. How many years did he pass himself off as the mere passive recipient of stolen classified info handed to him by others? Passive recipient, my butt. Journalist, my butt. This indictment was filed on March 6th, and not just March 6th, he doesn't mention this, March 6th, 2018. And he says, so they sat on it for over a month. No, look, it's 2018. This is 2019, okay? So they didn't sit on it for a month, they sat on it for a year. Timing is everything, folks. And so that makes it even more suspicious that it came out right now. I mean, how coincidental could that be? It's not. It's not coincidental at all. And what is the indictment for? Well, it's that he conspired with Bradley Manning. I'm not even going to call him Chelsea, okay? Not really, because he's still male. And he's going to hate that, and people are going to hate me for saying that. But you know what? Check his DNA. It hasn't changed. So anyway, that's what he's going to be held accountable for. And you'll see that there's the executive order 13526 is mentioned. I do have this indictment here, and I will leave this article so you can see the indictment itself, the whole indictment. And So I'll have that down in the link below. And then I will also have a link to the executive order. This was signed by Barack Obama. And it was all about classification and how classification needs to be respected and how it can be prosecuted, actually, if you're not respecting the classification. Ironically, he did not apply this to Hillary. Yeah. So anyway, I'll have those links down below for you, but I want to go back and I want to continue on this. And so then he says, Trump and Barr will now leverage Assange into revealing where those DNC emails actually came from. When that happens, the biggest card gets yanked out of the bottom of the whole Trump-Russia collusion hoax house of cards. Yep, there it will go. Down it will go. And he says, oh, wait, that date is March 18th, 2018, which, I already said. Sessions had this indictment ready to go over a year ago. That's how patient the people running this thing have been. You're about to all discover just how virulently anti-Trump Julian Assange is. This is nothing new. Most of you have just been blind to it. For those of you who forgot or who deliberately downplay it, here's exactly what Assange and his buddy, quote, Chelsea, did. And so here it lists, again, this is in the indictment, and it talks about what he did. And Manning downloaded 4 nearly complete databases from departments and agencies of the United States. And, of course, Assange, who did not possess a security clearance or need to know, was not authorized to receive classified information. And so it goes through and it talks about it all. So, whistleblower, he took 4 complete databases, and Wiki published most of that material. Here, Mr. Publisher, sir, I have some specific malfeasance I want to expose, versus, here, Mr. Publisher, sir, I have 4 nearly complete databases of classified top-secret information I want you to fish through looking for something you can use. And that is a big difference there. I know there's been a lot of gray hat talk and everything, but you really have to look at it. There is a difference between a whistleblower who says, I have this one specific piece of information that is something bad that needs to be exposed, and then somebody who just hands them a big bunch of databases and says, here, go for it. That's huge. That's a huge difference. Much of that stuff was classified for a reason, and as I discussed earlier this morning, anybody looking at 4 databases of counterintelligence documents from the outside trying to figure out what to redact or not would be clueless. So Assange huddles with the wiki lawyers and they all go, let's take our best guess at what we should redact from these 4 almost complete databases and then let's publish the rest of it. Do you know how classified the stuff is on the Department of Defense's secret Internet Protocol network? And Manning ends up finding out part of the password to get into that network and sends it to Assange so he can help him crack it and get in there. This is light years beyond, sir, some criminal activity has come to my attention and I would like to expose it. Here are the relevant classified documents to actively hacking DoD intel networks, phishing for stuff to steal. I'm sure once we've hacked into the DoD's classified intelligence network, we'll be able to hunt around and fish for stuff we can use, Assange likely told himself. And here's a link also to that document. That's the indictment right there. If you take the position the entire U.S. government and military is, evil and stuff, this might make sense. But I don't believe that, and I take a dim view of people who do, Assange among them. So those of you who don't know that I'm far from a Assange fan, and I don't like people who try to break into classified intel networks, commit espionage, well, now you know. A 100% accurate and true statement. Sucks to be you, Assange. Do the deal quickly, please. And this is an incoming attorney general is required to follow through with the prosecution of any indictments that are out there. As for you, quote, Chelsea, so much for Obama's commuting your sentence. You traitor. I hope you rot in prison. Gonna be interesting. Addendum. Thanks to the commentator below who brought up something I forgot to mention. Remember all those Russians Mueller's team indicted for hacking? his work is indeed about to be graded by Barr and Company. Mueller's show indictments of all those Russians for hacking is about to get graded. You nervous, Bob? Yeah. That was one of his commenters, and then he put it up here just to make sure everybody saw it. So, yeah. And so he added that in as one of the tweets there. So this is what's going on, and I wanted to show you a couple more things. This is from back in June of 2018, and look what we have here. John Solomon had an article, How Comey Intervened to Kill WikiLeaks Immunity Deal. And so you have a situation here. And look what he says. One of the more devastating intelligence leaks in American history, the unmasking of the CIA's arsenal of cyber warfare weapons last year, has an untold prelude worthy of a spy novel. So I couldn't even write this stuff, folks. If I wrote this in my novels, people would be like, no way, this is just too far-fetched to be real. But this is reality. Oh, the truth is stranger than fiction. Definitely. Some of the characters are household names thanks to the Russia scandal. James Comey, fired FBI director. Senator Mark Warner, and he's a Democrat from Virginia, in case you didn't know that. Vice Chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee. Department of Justice official Bruce Orr. Julian Assange, Grand Master of WikiLeaks. And American attorney Adam Waldman, who has a Forrest Gump-like penchant for showing up in major cases of intrigue. Each played a role in the early days of the Trump administration to try to get Assange to agree to risk mitigation, essentially limiting some classified CIA information he might release in the future. And I'm not going to read this whole article. It's kind of long, but it's kind of worth reading too because, wow. And it mentions a lot of players that at the time this article came out, a year ago, people probably just kind of bypassed him. But now, Oleg Deripaska, yeah, we seem to know these people because they're all out there. And he also gives these different conversations between them. He gives a lot of different documents that are part of this investigation. So I'm not going to go through them all, but they are here and you can read through them. It's about how Comey and Warner stepped in and really kept a deal from being made with Assange, that he was ready to make some kind of deal, but they just said step down. I mean, there was a leave it alone type message that was sent out to them, to the people that were trying to make this deal. And yeah, so why would he do that? Well, I don't know. Right here it says, a source familiar with Warner's interactions says the senator's contact on the Assange matter was limited and was shared with Senate Intelligence Chairman Senator Richard Burr, but the source acknowledges that Warner consulted Comey and passed along the stand-down instructions to Waldman. That did happen. And so why would Comey be doing that? Well, I don't know. But it all got put on hold until when? All got put on hold until now. And here's another article. This is from November of last year. A federal judge's deferred action on whether to unseal an apparent criminal complaint against WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. So at this time, they were trying to get that unsealed, but they said, nope, not going to unseal it. So that's very interesting. People like to say, oh, all those sealed indictments are not really sealed indictments. You might want to think again. And by the way, the number is now over 90,000. They're not all indictments, okay? They're sealed proceedings. And some of that could be evidence. Some of it could be witness testimony. Could be a lot of different things that are sealed, but they all have to do with some indictments. There are a lot of indictments in that batch. So anyway, here is the USA Today article about it, and I'll leave that. You can read it for yourself. This also has the link to the indictment, as well as Brian Cates's tweet. So again, and this has the video, if you haven't seen it. I don't know, Julian Assange looks kind of old. I think it's the beard probably, because it is a white beard, but he just seems kind of old, although there were a lot of rumors that he was very ill, and he seems to be kind of holding his own against those guys. So I don't know that he's necessarily ill. I think he didn't want to go, and so he was trying to resist. But things are moving along. I don't know what's going to end up happening, but I tend to think he will eventually be extradited back to the United States, and he will reveal that the DNC was not hacked by Russians. So he's going to unload that, I am sure. And I don't know, there may be other documents that the Wikileaks is holding back on that could open more cans of worms, because Assange was the one who said back in October of 2016 that he was going to reveal some major things about Clinton. And she tried to have him killed and everything. So, yeah, it's been a fun time for him. I mean, he has some enemies, that's for sure. But he really should not have published some of the things he did about the United States, because a lot of those documents were not just revealing criminality. They weren't. They were revealing state secrets that we needed to use to protect our country. And that is where things got really bad. And I think this was probably one of the things that really pushed our military people into deciding something had to be done, because we were in a very precarious situation. Our secrets were out there. And some of the secrets did cause problems between us and other countries with the CIA. So anyway, a lot of this, I mean, this is just starting to really unravel. Everything with the House of Cards is starting to fall down. And we're going to see more and more of this. I apologize that I haven't done a lot on this the last 2 days, but, you know, family things kind of came up and I wasn't able to just do it. I ran out of energy, so I had to do some other things instead. A couple of them, you notice, were recorded a few days before that. And so, well, that just happens. And that's the thing about having a political channel. You can't really do too much ahead of time, because when you do things ahead of time, the news can just throw you curves like it has. So that's what I've got for this one. And if you haven't seen my gift video, for some reason, people are telling me YouTube was not letting it come up, but I think maybe it was a glitch with YouTube and it's fixed now. I hope that's the situation. But anyway, if you haven't seen it, then I just want to say thank you so much for supporting my channel. That's all I want to say, because you guys have just been overwhelmingly wonderful. You've been such a blessing to me, and you'll probably never know just how much of a blessing you've been. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say. I want to thank you again for stopping by, and I'll see y'all later.